I think it's been maybe like 2 or 3 years since I last posted a vlog on my piano channel, and I never do this. But I was given a piano by the corporation Glarry. It is the Glarry GDP-104 88 key, fully weighted hammer action key bed piano. Here it is. This has been delivered to me, and I said I could make a review for it if I was given the piano. And so they very kindly sent me the piano and didn't coach me or say you have to say anything about it. I'm literally just going to open it up and talk about it. Okay, I've been so pumped about opening this thing for so long. Give me one sec, I need to get my knife. I have been doing so much stuff this month, and I have just had this like sitting here on my wall for probably 2 weeks, just taunting me. So I'm so excited to start breaking this thing open. During college, I had to transport my piano in and out of my dorm over and over and over because I had gigs kind of all over the place. So I'm sort of like very used to lifting, moving pianos around and stuff. So, okay, I'm just gonna open this and I'll be back in a second so I can more clearly tell you what's all in the box. My cat is in the other room playing with the box, and I have now unpacked everything within the package, and I want to tell you what's all in it. So, let's see. First we have this, I think it's a 1/4 jack, okay? We have a USB-C to normal USB conversion. This is just the power for the device. And all this stuff back here are just like the stands, and it comes with a manual too. Also has a 1-year warranty. I believe this is for the pedaling system, which is that big device. This goes under it, has like a decoration, and this is the full piano. I will show you what it all looks like, nice and set up, after I go through the rest of this stuff. There's also included some headphones. This is just a normal sort of 3.5 millimeter jack down there. They even included eyeglasses cleaners. This is a silk thing for wiping off your, like, any stains or whatever on the piano. I almost never use these. And if you're a beginner, I guess this includes some piano stickers for labeling different keys. I am obviously a little bit better than a beginner, so I will not be using those. It also includes a Phillips head and a flathead screwdriver. You can just flip that. That's actually super cool and super nice of them. You're my favorite boy, Debbie. This is a USB to MIDI output. So you put this in the back of the piano and then you plug it into your computer and it will record MIDI. Very useful. I will be testing that for sure. Anyway, that appears to be just about all the stuff included in the box. Relatively simple. It includes all the normal piano elements and sort of extras. So I will be back in just a minute after I've put together the piano, and I will tell you how it is. I don't think you can hear this, but there's sound coming through my ears. But these are, not the most expensive headphones in the world, and so there's some crackling and such. Anyway, but it's a pair of headphones. And it does what headphones do. It does what headphones do. You ever think about that? The headphones, they work. They're working. Alright, so I figure let's just kind of go through the book and talk about like all the things that this has got going on. So I figure it's probably best to show you what the functions are with this piano. Obviously we have the power button. This turns it on. And it works immediately upon turning on. It doesn't have to load anything. There's a volume knob here, and it's a sliding scale. There's no clicks. It just, like, you set it to probably the middle value. I will say that when you turn the volume all the way max and then start like hammering away, you will get a little bit of distortion because the microphones on the piano, the speakers rather, are on either side of the piano. They're like underneath. They're underneath right here, and they're underneath back here. And so, when turned up to complete maximum, you get just like, you reach the edge of the microphone a little bit. Obviously, you know, you won't be playing at max volume. There is a record button, and there's a playback button, and there's also a demo. So every piano kind of comes with that. I just clicked the start-stop button in order to turn that off. There's a tone button here. This changes the different like sounds that the piano will make. There's an E piano. There's like an organ. There's a harpsichord. You know, like a banjo. We've got all these different sounds. It looks like there is, I'm going to scroll back, 127 different sounds, including like sound effects. Like this is a gunshot sound. This is an ocean sound. Anyway, yeah, you can look around there. I'm gonna go back to the normal piano. This is the default. There is a chords dynamics button, and then there's a transpose. Oh, there's a transpose button. Oh my goodness, that's so crazy. So this piano apparently comes with the option to transpose your playing. So if you happen to only know a song in, let's say, C major, you can and you're playing with like a band, you can transpose your playing to be in, it's up 2 semitones now, so in D major. That's really, really cool. This has a function to transpose your playing to any other key, as long as you like know how many semitones you are away from the rest of your band. Wow, that's kind of crazy. So there is also a double keyboard or dual voice button. When activated, apparently, this splits the piano sort of in half, and so, you know, these notes sound exactly the same pitch as these notes. So I suppose this would be useful for like if you have a piano teacher, play something on the high and then you play something on the low. You both can be playing the same pitches and it won't be, you know, distracting in any sort of way. Wow. So it looks like this piano also has a recording function. So if I activate it right now by clicking record and I play something, and then I stop and then I hit the playback button, it does play it back, and you can do it as many times as you want. Stop. If you're practicing a piece of music and you want to hear yourself play it back to sort of like take yourself out of the performing situation and, you know, see how you played it, you can hit the playback button and listen to yourself play and sort of evaluate and make changes for the next time you play it. That seems actually very useful. You know, maybe that would have been a good thing to actually start playing. I'm a big fan of this stand here. There's also like a stand clip for your music, so it won't move. Pretty nice. There is a sustain pedal. I should turn this louder so you can hear it. So it will sustain the notes. There is a soft pedal. Pretty cool. And there is a middle pedal. To be honest, I don't know the names of the middle pedal. I don't know. But it's supposed to sustain one note, while every other note is kind of like staccato or played like as normal. The piano advertises itself as a fully weighted hammer action keybed. That is true. It is weighted. However, I will say that the amount of pressure that it takes to depress the keys is something between what you would find in a real piano and a non-weighted piano. So it's not like, I would actually kind of consider this to be a semi-weighted sort of a situation, which is to say it is so easy to like hit the notes so quickly, but I am used to like the pressure of like a fully weighted key bed, and so for some pianists, this like elasticity and this weightlessness will be a little difficult to adapt to. However, I can easily imagine this this sort of weightlessness being very effective for example, very quick music, or music that needs, you know, a lot of intricate little movements. Like this kind of a thing would be, I think, a lot harder on like a fully weighted keyboard. Which is also to say, this piano is super easy on the fingers if you're practicing your glissandos. This takes like literally no effort. A real piano, you'd have to put some pressure in. This, I almost could like just not feel that. This piano sound in the Glarry GDP is fairly typical of sort of like the less than $500 pianos. Which is to say, it's like, it's clearly a digital sound, but it, you know, it passes well enough for sounding like a piano that it, you know, it shouldn't be distracting at all to like somebody who's practicing the instrument. It does start to sound a little tinny in the bottom notes. Like the bottom notes aren't like giving me a nice thud. And the top notes, are, I don't know, it just feels like the EQ curve is like kind of like this. So the instrument is like much more effective in like its mid-range, I would say. Here is where you can experience the full force of this particular piano. Want the low notes to like slam, man. It kind of sounds like the same sort of across the board. And that's not really helped too much by the instrument being super easy to like, you know, there's no sort of weight on the keys. But if you're just starting piano and just learning, like just developing your finger strength, I could very easily imagine this sort of a situation being helpful as you practice your tunes and get them under your fingers. And once you have those tunes under your fingers, then you can just like start adding weight and like confidence to your playing. And that could be a good way to develop your ability. It's a very gorgeous piano. They sent me a white piano, and I really like it. It's very nice to look at, to be honest. Oh, I need to show you its MIDI functionality. So this piano's MIDI functionality. I currently have the USB to MIDI cable plugged into the back of the piano, and the other end plugged into my computer as just a normal USB. If you happen to make music like I do, you can use this instrument as a MIDI controller, so you can perform your things and then change the sound in your programs. So, you know, that's kind of cool. That's very useful. This was like the main feature that I was excited to get this piano for. I currently use the piano that I use every day as a MIDI controller for most of my projects. So to find that this piano also does MIDI, it was awesome, and it's less than $300. So like I think that's a big win, and it's full size. If you make music, it's so important to have. If you're a pianist especially, it's so important to be able to access all 88 keys, you know, and be able to play them as the music comes to you into your system. It is essential, I think, and this piano does that. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the build quality. I think this piano is actually very pretty, and I think it came together super easily and super well. There is literally one picture in the the user manual of how to build pianos. I've been building pianos, you know, forever, so I sort of like know what to expect. But this is it, and it comes with all these parts. You just kind of have to sort of suss it out, and it's literally just like the two stands and then this middle piece, which I think can be flipped in either direction, but I think this is how it goes, and then the pedal portion of it, and then of course the top, and it's all sort of connected very sturdily. But every other element of this support for the piano is put together with these very solid like screws. Like they're pretty thick. And down here there's 2 to support this, and there's 4 on the other side as well. So that's essentially the whole build for this thing. It looks good and it feels sturdy. You know, this thing isn't going anywhere. I will say that the microphone for this piano is this. This is the one of the microphones, or not the microphone. Sorry, this is the speaker. One of the speakers is right here, and the other speaker is right there. Now, regarding the feeling of the keys, this is advertised to be a fully weighted 88 key keyboard, but it is extremely easy to push down these keys. I would go so far as to call this semi-weighted. There is a little bit of pressure, but it is not, I don't think, the pressure you'd see on an actual piano. The plus side of this is that it makes like quick runs super easy to do, but the downside is it will probably throw off any sort of experienced pianist who is used to the sort of weight of a typical keyboard, because this is really meant for like use as a synthesizer, it feels like to me. Which is actually very cool for some purposes and not for other purposes. So do with this information what you will. This is a pretty easy piano to push down. Not to say that it's not weighted at all. There is weight, but it is super light. So semi-weighted is what I would call this. Alrighty, I believe I have now talked about every sort of important feature that this piano will offer. I would say this piano, who's it for? This is a beginner piano for sure, but it is a good beginner piano. For beginner pianists, I would always recommend, you know, you want to find a piano with 88 keys. This one has that. You want to find a piano with weighted keys. This is semi-weighted, so this is partially there, and you want to find a piano that has onboard speakers. Something you don't need to plug in, you know, speakers for. And this has onboard speakers. I will say that the onboard speakers can be a little bit tinny, especially when the volume is like sort of maxed out, but you shouldn't be playing with maxed out volume anyway, so it's not really that much of a problem. Especially good for beginners, who are looking for something portable, easily portable. Like this whole thing, for example, does not weigh that much. It's, you know, but it is very sturdy, I will say that. And it looks nice, to be honest. Like it's a nice piano. It like is solid. It they sent me the white version, and I think the white version really pops well. I'm pretty impressed with this, to be honest. I don't know if this would be so useful for advanced pianists or gigging pianists, people who are, you know, performing in bands all the time. However, this is a very cheap piano, and so it is, I would say, a great first step for a pianist who is like maybe wetted their beak a little bit with performing, and they want to graduate to like performing with the full range. This is sort of what the piano sounds like through its speakers. I'm trying to play like the full range so you can hear like the twinkly high notes. And the bassy low notes. Oops. You can kind of hear from the low notes. It's not the camera. The low notes are not so powerful. They sound about the same volume as the stuff in the high. On a real piano, this would be like a lot more powerful, and this would be like less, but here everything kind of is like the same, you know. The piano really excels in its mid-range, I would say, for sure, but... Cool, yeah. This is definitely a semi-weighted keyboard. But there is a place in the piano world for semi-weighted keyboards, especially if you use it as a synthesizer or use it as a MIDI controller, like I definitely will be. Cool. Most people will not be using anything other than the first, the first default instrument. Yep, so again, the Glarry piano has a lot of benefits, especially for a beginning pianist. I like I like that it's a full 88 key keyboard. I like that it's sturdy and looks very pretty. I like its functions, particularly that it has MIDI functionality back there. That is all the best. Some cons about the piano are that it is a semi-weighted piano, which is to say that the notes are a little bit too easy to press if you compare it to like an actual piano, which takes, you know, effort to push down the keys. This is more of a piano for use as a like synthesizer, or if you're playing like a lot of really quick parts or something. Or if you're a beginning pianist and you're not so confident in your finger strength, this is a good option to sort of like build up that that finger strength in order to play more complicated pieces of music. Another con about this piano, I will say, is that the speakers being on the bottom and not being covered with a mesh can pose some problems if you have a pet or a small child who could come in and put their hands up and push it in the speaker. I'm not sure why they would do that. Of course, you could just like hammer on a metal grate, but that is something to maybe be aware of. And the small speakers don't really do the beautiful instrument justice in terms of sound quality. You can hear the difference between like the relatively small speaker, which maybe is about the size of my fist, compared to like a speaker like this. I think this kind of a piano would really benefit from a nicer sort of speaker set, because it seems pretty easy to play very loud and reach the sort of like crackling point of the speaker. That can be a problem. I really like the pedals. The pedals are like these, I think they're actually plastic, but they look metal. And they all react well, they feel good to play. Another thing I'll say about the piano is that you'll definitely want this piano to not be sort of like in the middle of a room like I have it here, because the power cord is not very long. It's maybe only about this long-ish, maybe. It can reach the floor for sure, but you'll want it to be like close to an outlet in order to plug it in. So that's my review of the Glarry GDP-104 88 key keyboard. If you are interested in purchasing one for yourself, I'll put a link in the description as the first link. It's right there. Thank you to the Glarry company for sending this piano to me in order to make a review. I love talking about pianos, so if anybody wants to send me pianos, I am super down to always talk about them. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna jam out. I'll see you all later.